Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new Grace and Frankie after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Today we're going to be breaking down Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6, titled The Gun and the Pot, and we have special guest Lindsey Kraft here in the studio. We're so excited, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Hello again, AfterBuzzers. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Grace and Frankie after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And as promised, we have Lindsey Kraft here in the studio, aka Allison, aka the biggest hypochondriac in the entire world. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me at Linz, Linz Kraft, Krifт, at, that's Twitter.
Yeah.
And the same thing for Instagram.
Perfect. And of course we have Calvin here.
Yeah. You can find me all across social media at Leon Calvin Mac.
And Shannon couldn't be here today. She really misses you guys, sends her love. She will be back next week. And of course, follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. Use the hashtag ABTV Grace and Frankie if you want to chat with us about the show or just tweet us. So this is so exciting. I just think that they've added another cast member to the show that really seems to fit in, because I feel like in the past, they've tried to add characters, and they kind of only stick around for a little bit. But I want you to stay. I just feel like your character fits in with the quirkiness of the crew.
That's so nice. Thank you.
What was it like kind of joining this group of people that have worked together for 2 seasons, and they're like, some of them are legends?
Yeah, it was such a gift. Like, the whole experience has been so wonderful. I was just supposed to do that first episode at the art gallery, and then there was just some, I think, great chemistry with, I don't know exactly why, but I think they wanted a little bit more.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were thrilled.
I was.
That's so great.
Yeah. I had originally gone out for the pilot, and then Marta had remembered me and brought me in for Allison, and then, yeah.
I feel like that's so
That's
cool how that
amazing.
happens, you
Yeah.
know? Like years later, kind of, people still remember you,
Yeah.
and every meeting, every audition kind of can always come back around, even if like
Yeah.
it doesn't work out.
I don't know if she specifically said, "Oh, bring that girl back," but the cast, when she saw me again, it was like, "I know that girl."
Yeah, exactly.
That's what she said. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, who else could do Allison but you?
I don't
It was
know.
amazing.
It did feel very right.
Yeah. Are you like your character at all?
I'm not such a hypochondriac. There's other elements of her that are weird that I'm a little weird.
Yeah.
That I feel connected to.
Yeah.
She feels very easy to play. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like really fun because that's a character.
Yeah.
Like that's just a
Exactly.
total characterization of someone. Very funny. Let's start off talking about The Gun. The
That's a
first
weird
episode,
episode.
yeah, it was, oh my gosh, when I watched it the first time, I go, oh crap, who did Grace shoot? Like, I thought,
It was really scary.
I know.
It was,
I was like,
yeah.
murder mystery now. Like, is it going to be Orange is the New Black with like Grace going to prison? I got so scared.
I could only hope. That would be fun. Grace would run prison.
She would still look really good in an orange
She
jumpsuit.
would. She would turn it
She'll
out.
rock anything.
Yeah.
It's amazing how amazing she looks, right?
Yeah. Did you get to meet Jane Fonda at all?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember if you were in any scenes with her as of yet. We're kind of
yeah,
still
that's
going
right,
week by
yeah.
week.
Oh, right. Okay. I have to remember where we're at, even in terms of
Okay.
seasons. Okay.
Okay.
But no, I mean, I was watching that Jane Fonda video. That was the first time I exercised in my
Yeah.
The
life.
workout tapes.
Yeah,
yes.
the workout tapes with my friends, and we do it in our living rooms, move all the furniture out of the way. I still have not told her yet that, but I'm waiting for the right moment.
Waiting for the right moment. She'll be like, thank you.
But she's so warm and kind, and if you say anything to her, she's right there with you and amazing.
Oh, God.
Love it.
That's so cool. God, I want to meet her one day. Well, there's this whole debacle now. Everybody's fighting, and Frankie kind of runs away because of the gun. She's just very anti-gun. And, I mean, I'm anti-gun too, but she's like...
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Anti-gun.
it almost seemed like she's had a bad experience at some point in her life. It was like PTSD with guns, but now she has PTSD with guns.
And Grace a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the scenes where Saul and Grace kind of have to talk. Grace will contact him for advice or something like that. And she called him today because she was worried, and he actually came over, and they're all looking for her, Frankie. And she was with her yogurt shop friends.
I love that one.
I know, I love that too. It's like, duh, why didn't I think about that?
Exactly. Everybody needs yogurt shop friends. Yeah.
I know, it was so hilarious. I totally loved that. And here I am. Okay. So they also, as everything is going on, it gets slipped that Brianna, well, they find out it's Brianna, gave them the $75,000 and it wasn't Jacob. And that happened sooner than I thought it would.
Exactly. And I thought that at that moment it would be like, oh, okay, you know, you lied about this and you lied about having a gun. We can call it even. No, that's not how Frankie works. So.
Nope. Yeah, it was, I don't know. It still made me laugh a lot seeing these two women just completely fall apart. And it's funny because, I mean, obviously their relationship is not romantic. This isn't, you know, they're not Saul and Robert, but these two women are so there for each other that, like, the only thing missing from their relationship is romance. Everything else, they're like a couple.
That's my favorite part about the show is that their relationship is, I mean, everything is friendship, you know, and that relationship is the best example of anything that we all care about. And you really feel that their feelings for each other is, you know, friends are so important.
Yeah.
It sounds so cheesy, but
Ride or die,
No,
these two are.
it is.
They literally are. And then we have a Robert and Saul storyline this episode with Robert's mother. And I was totally shocked that she didn't know that he married Saul.
Yeah.
Because, again, I've said this before, like, for us, this story has been going on for 3 years as the audience.
Right.
But for them, I keep on forgetting it. It's not been that long. I mean,
Right.
Like 18 months.
yeah, something like that. I mean, I guess that's still, to me, that's still a long time.
Yeah.
And they're obviously not close. That grandmother, she, like, I think she's in something that I used to watch. I don't know. She looked so familiar.
She does.
And she was so mean. She was so mean.
that was heartbreaking, that scene.
It brought back like all of the emotions, because I remember coming out to my mom and it was just it didn't go anything like that, but like I remember like she was okay. I told her on the toilet. Yeah, so I was
You
like,
were on the toilet or she was on the toilet?
a little bit of both. No, I'm just kidding.
You were both on the toilet? You have two toilets in one
Just
bathroom?
holding hands underneath the stall. No, she was on the toilet and I was like, you know, hey, you know, it's some big news. I want to make sure she was sitting down.
Yeah.
And it was
You
a
should
lot
do
of,
stand up and, like, make that a bit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
so it was a lot of crying, a lot of emotions, but it was nowhere near like that. Like she had her moment of initial like, oh my gosh, and like being surprised by it, but it was nothing as horrible as what, you know, Robert had to endure. And I really felt for him during that moment.
Yeah. And at an older age, too, you know, it's different. And I feel like once you kind of take that burden off your shoulders, you're expecting to, because everyone's an adult here, you're kind of expecting to just feel better. But it made him feel really bad. And it's funny, I liked her comments about Grace. Like, just because you married the wrong
I know.
woman doesn't make you gay.
And I love, there was that moment when he thought for 1 second that she was going to be, like, give, like, a last kind of, like,
Yeah.
and then I forget what she said as he left.
Gave back the Kindle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Gave
you
back
just, like,
the
saw the
Kindle.
look on Martin's face of just, like, thinking that she was going to still love him the way that he is. It was
I know.
heartbreaking.
It is. And I like that we're kind of humanizing Robert, because emotionally humanizing him, because I've always just felt like he was so stoic, and was probably my least favorite character, honestly, but this episode you really kind of start to understand why he is the way he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like had he not come out, had he not, you know, embraced who he really was, he would have probably been as, I guess, mean-spirited as we see his mother to be, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have a really fun Brianna and Mallory storyline for the next couple episodes. But they go out to a bar, and Mallory's really struggling. It makes me sad. Makes me be like, that's why I don't want to get married.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and her husband was so nice in the first season. Like, I loved him. And now he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, I still forget what he looks like.
He's really hot.
He's been around.
He's really hot.
Jeff
Is
Stoltz.
he?
Yes. Very, very good looking guy. But they go out, her and Brianna do, and Mallory's just kind of like sipping vodka, chasing with vodka.
Love it.
Not in a great place. And Brianna, it's funny, is the one that's trying to rein it in, and she makes her stay. And Brianna locks eyes with this really attractive guy. And I just thought it was hilarious. They end up going home together, and before they like start doing it, he says it's $300. I'm not sure about, well, I do watch a lot of TV shows that have escort storylines, and I feel like that's a pretty good deal for him. But so did she, and she, you know, she did
She's
it.
like,
And
why not?
It's a good rate. Yeah.
yeah, because I feel like we keep on seeing her be like Robert almost.
Yeah.
And this, and you know, she like broke up with her boyfriend who she really, really liked. And now she is just going to like the furthest she can go with this whole I don't care about anything thing.
Right.
And, you know, we don't know what happens yet, but I do think that it is going to backfire
Yeah. It
on
can't
her.
be good. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
just there's no way.
There's no way.
Fun story,
Yeah.
but, you know.
I will say though, as sad as it was to see Mallory like being so like, oh my gosh, my life right now, and her complaining about it all and getting it all off her chest, drunk Mallory has to be probably my favorite version of Mallory.
Oh my!
Yes.
I thought that scene with them was so wonderful. I was just rewatching it. Obviously,
Exactly.
they were just. There's. I mean, I love them, and they were just so great together. And to see, Brooklyn plays a great drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she really does. Speaking of them, there's a lot of really great scenes with them in the next episode, and some really great scenes with you in the next episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we kind of are just going straight from where we left off. That's how the last few episodes have been. Like literally minutes later, hours later, that's where the episode starts. And everyone, like Brianna and Mallory, go to Grace's aid because of this fight, and then Frankie goes to her two sons. And they are each driving like the other mother crazy. I loved these scenes. They were really fun and funny, and just kind of shows like, even though you're family, you know, they'll do anything for each other, but they don't like it. But
Yeah.
they'll do
Yeah.
it. But you know, Bud finally draws a line.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun to see. So they are all at Bud's house, and you and Bud are going to have this like romantic night.
Yeah.
And just, you know, the dialogue between you two is so funny. I could probably watch it 3
everything.
times and pick up on
Yes.
different jokes every time. Did you do any improv with him at all?
A tiny bit. I mean, the writers are so great, and
Yeah.
and maybe Barron did some. Maybe there was a little bit, but that's just like our rapport. I just feel like is really awkward and fun. I mean, I've never really played a character like that, but his reaction to my stuff is just wonderful.
Yeah, it's half the reaction too. And half of it's your reaction that is kind of like you're just not all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like things I feel like go right over your head, but then you remember them and they didn't really go right over your head. You're just like don't really emote. You know what I mean?
That sounds like me, actually. I was like, maybe that's the part that's similar to Lindsay.
No, it's perfect though, because you guys are both so quick, and it's just like when I first saw your character on screen, I was like, oh, like she's like a real life version of Debbie Downer from SNL.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because something's always wrong. But this was like the perfect moment where we got to see a little bit more of Allison and kind of like, you know, a little bit more of character depth. You know, she's not
cool.
just like something's always wrong. Like she's, you know, sensual. You know, she really likes Bud, and you know, she just plain out, you know, said, you know, where are we gonna F? You
Yeah.
know, like, you know, sucking on the inhaler, like so sensually. Like it was like, oh, okay, like she's hilarious in so many different like levels.
And like even that small addition of an inhaler in that scene
Yeah.
makes it so much funnier.
It was.
And was that like did you actually suck something in? It looked like
No, it was fake. I mean, I don't think I sucked anything in.
It looked like you were really doing it. Like,
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Looked like you were really getting something there. But it's just funny how Frankie is completely oblivious to kind of her being a burden on Bud and, you know, his girlfriend. And I love when they met for the first time, but Allison didn't know that was Bud's. Like, she was like, who are you?
All right.
But Frankie knew, you know, acted as though you guys had, like, met a million times. And she was such a nut in this episode. I really, really loved it. And Coyote is still, like, he's this man-child. And it gets brought up in this episode. And he's like, Mommy's upset. You know, like, we got to help Mommy. It's not his house. And Bud and Coyote kind of butt heads because he's finally had enough. He has his girlfriend now. He wants his own life. And I like that we're seeing the other relationships besides, Grace and Frankie and Saul and Robert really develop, and these children who are adults having their own life. It's, it's a lot of fun to explore, especially because we get to add characters like you.
Thanks. I think you sort of like see the result of how they were parenting them as like children, and seeing like what they do and how it's similar, like what you were saying, that June is like Martin now, and
yeah,
I should be using character names, but and that you see how Baron is Bud is such a caretaker, and he's just always trying to fix everything, and that's why he feels like he can nurture me, and in the same way that he nurtures his mom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a really good point. That is true, because their mother needs a lot of nurturing, but Bud's only got room right now for one woman to take care of. He doesn't want to, because you are a handful.
And I think that's why people don't like. I think that's why they don't like my character.
Really,
like,
people don't like your character?
No, or like the cast, like
Very true. Coyote has his issues
because I'm taking him away, and it's weird, like because I'm so, he feels the need to nurture me so much, so then they don't get as nurtured as they normally are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that this morning.
Well, it's funny because, like I have a younger brother who's 27, and he has a really serious girlfriend. He's had her for a few years, and everyone, I mean, listen, she's not perfect. It's not our fault that we don't like her, but it's also,
Is she gonna watch this?
I mean, honestly, if
It's
she's
her
watched
fault.
any of my shows, these storylines will come up, and I'm like, my brother has a girlfriend that none of us like that much.
Okay.
But it's because, a lot of it too, it's weird because I'm a little, crazy. Sometimes my mom's definitely crazy, and my brother has been like the bud of our family. And now, of course, he finds another crazy just like us, and we don't get as much attention from him.
Oh,
and
it's
it's
exactly the same thing.
yeah, it's very similar. So, but I think even though your character is crazy, you mean well. I want to see you start developing like relationships with everyone else too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Do
I
we
think
know
it's hard
how
to see
you
what-
and Bud met?
We do not. Yeah.
I wonder. I'm so curious. That would be really fun to.
Yeah, we've talked about it before about how, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Maybe you were
there's a
trying to
way.
like sue your doctor or something.
Yeah.
And he was your lawyer. Oh my God, I would love that. And then, of course, we have Mallory and Brianna going to help Grace. They bring over the vodka. And it's like they know what to do to take care of their mother. And I love that.
Know what I learned in that scene? To put saran wrap over chicken before you
Yes.
pound it. Because I've been pounding it, and it's really hard to clean that thing without putting. And saran wrap. So now I want to go home and just do that.
But like, why do you pound chicken?
Oh, to make it thin so it cooks faster.
Yeah, tenderizing it. I forgot all about that. I'm so glad you said that, because I wrote down on my notepad like, oh, the episode opens with Grace beating her meat. So I was like, that was like a really funny little scene.
Yeah, definitely getting her aggressions out.
Yeah.
And I love those scenes where there's several of the characters, and, it's kind of like in and out, and someone's saying this and someone's saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're really hard to shoot, but because you've been in a bunch of those too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's more coming up where it's like, to get coverage on everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I always think about stuff like that because to me, this show's kind of like a movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It's how it is shot, and this. I mean, it's just Netflix in general. They do such
know.
good work, but
It's so beautifully shot, I think.
it really is. I mean, it reminds me of a like Nancy. I always
Yes,
Nancy
Nancy
Meyer film.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that.
I mean, the first time I was in the beach house, I was like freaking out. I was like, because I'm like a fan of the show, and then I'm like, I'm in the beach house.
so
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
a real beach house, or just
Yeah.
a set,
I mean, it's a set, but it's
in a house.
But it's like they built a set, but it really feels like a house. I mean,
Okay.
I guess it is a set.
Yeah.
It's from the stage, but. I mean, there's all the curves that are all the same that, they just move the cameras around, but that outside is like so, and that's
It's
so
really
pretty.
beautiful.
I get really excited when I'm in the house.
That is really cool, actually. I would love to go to that house.
love
And
to.
I love the pot. This whole episode is called The Pot. So I honestly love it when the characters get high on the show. I think it's really, really funny.
It's hilarious. Yeah, my goal in life is to be as high as Grace eating a cupcake with a knife and fork.
Oh my
That
God.
was amazing.
She was so funny. I really believed that. I mean, that was so good, that whole scene.
Oh yeah, she was really, really good, and I love how she, said pot doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I said the first time I saw it.
I know, me
Me
too.
too.
I think I said that
I was
for like a
nothing's
year.
happening. Yeah, me too.
And but I wasn't doing it right. I later learned.
Yeah.
But my friends were like, maybe you're so high you don't think you're high, and I was like, maybe, but that would be super weird. But I love that, and I love that they smoke Frankie's pot because that's kind of a jab to her.
Yeah. I love that too.
Promise they do it together. I mean, I would be pissed too if someone promised like we'd do that together and then they just did it without me because they were mad at me. That was sacred.
Yeah.
That was a sacred plan. That was going to be a very nice, fun night they were going to have. But Brianna and Mallory also smoke with their mother. And I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. And I'm curious if they did any improv with that. I'm sure they like riffed a little bit because they were just
Yeah.
kind of so.
It was so
Right.
natural.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
It was really, really natural. And also in this scene with Mallory, Brianna tells her that she paid $300 for the guy in the episode before. And it was just so funny, Mallory's reaction. I loved that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's so crazy. And I'm just really interested to see where this is going to go. Like how far Brianna is really gonna take this relationship. What do you like? The chemistry between these three women definitely seems like they could be related, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought those scenes were so much fun.
And then the whole arguments between Frankie and Grace and how they just really dug into each other, like they were hitting but really below the belt. And it just really reminded me that, because it hasn't been so long, I feel like they're still like outsiders looking in. And even though, Grace had a gun, Frankie didn't really take the time to really dive in deep to see like why and really give her the benefit of the doubt. And she just went off straight judging her.
Yeah,
And that scene at the end was just so incredibly moving.
yeah.
That was at the end of 6, right?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was they were through the window.
Oh yeah, that was so cute. So yeah, that scene. So Frankie and Coyote and Bud go over to Grace's house to get Grace and Frankie's house to get her stuff so they can go to the vegan hotel.
I love when Lily says, I have to go to CVS and then to Target and then back to CVS because I always forget something. I thought that was the funniest line.
I know. I was like,
It's so true.
and Allison and her could totally bond
Yeah.
probably over that. Like they're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people in this scene when they all come over, and when the boys get there with Frankie, Grace and Brianna and Mallory are so high. And I loved, what did Grace say to her? She said that it's just like there's a big hole. What did she say? She was like talking and she said, shut your pie hole or something. Or
Yeah,
it was
she said, you look just like your dummy. She said, why do I have a big hole in my head?
Yeah.
And it's going, wah, wah, wah. Perfect. It was brilliant.
I know, it was hilarious. Then it was super funny, Bud trying to talk Frankie down. She's high. Everyone says weird things when they're
Yeah.
high. And Frankie's like, I say the best things when I'm high.
I know. That's definitely something I would say.
Yeah.
And maybe
No.
Allison too.
Yeah. And speaking of Allison, she calls Bud with her therapist,
Yeah.
which that was a really fun little mini scene within the scene.
Yeah.
I loved that because, what was his name? Dr. Wong?
Yeah.
Yeah, so funny. And she obviously cares about him, though. They're serious if she's
Exactly.
trying to get him to talk to her
Yeah.
therapist, right? Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
again, a ton of fun. Loved their interactions in that. And yeah, the two, Grace and Frankie, are just throwing quips at each other. And like we were talking about, they finally explain why Grace had the gun. And yeah, it's sad. Because what happened to them and their marriages, they weren't great. I think especially Grace and Robert's relationship was, they weren't even friends. I feel like Saul and Frankie were friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
least.
those two...
Yeah, I'm always interested by that because it does feel like Saul and Frankie had just a lot in common. And I mean, I guess they sort of Grace and Robert, but there's definitely more of a friendship between Saul and Frankie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think absolutely. And then finally, Frankie is telling her, you have someone now. And that's too one of the scenes where I'm like, they're basically like mates.
I know.
Like
I was bawling when we were watching that last night. I was just like, that is so sad. Like, just the fact that she had to have that gun because Robert was never home. And, like, now you have, like, you don't need it. And when she said, why do you need it? She's like, well, I guess I don't. Mm-hmm. That just, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It tugged at all the heartstrings. And she's like, I'm opening up the door. You've appealed to my emotional curiosity. Like, it's so sweet to see that bond happen after such a, catastrophe, that they're still able to come back together. That's how strong that they are.
Yeah. Sadly, the dummy isn't going to come back together.
No.
But even when they locked their kids out, and we just see them kind of like holding each other and laughing, just hysterically laughing, going into the kitchen, and the door is closed. I love that moment. We don't know what they're saying, but we just like, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
It's the sweetest thing. I want to have a best friend like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that basically recaps these 2 episodes. I'm going to get into some questions for you, Lindsay. Sure. So when exactly, I don't know if you can tell me this, but like, when did you film this past year? Was it like a long time ago, and now you're watching it thinking, oh, like that was so long ago?
It does feel like a long time. I can't remember exactly when we filmed, but it was definitely several months ago.
Okay, so it was not over like 7 months ago or something. It was kind of maybe.
Yeah, maybe around then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you get cast? Like, what was that process? I mean, you said that you had met the casting director and stuff before.
Yeah, I'd gone in for the pilot, and I remember I went in for
Brianna.
For Brianna's role. I mean, no, for Brooklyn's role.
Mallory.
Mallory. I think. Wait.
I could kind of see you as a Mallory.
But I was thinking the whole time, like, if there's Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin on a show, and one of them has 2 daughters, and I'm not playing Lily Tomlin's daughter, I feel like that's weird. I remember thinking, like, in what world would I get cast as Jane Fonda's daughter when Lily? I mean, to me, so I was like, right away, I was thinking, I just am not right for this, and I was right. But they really liked me, but they thought that I wasn't quite right for it, and then just kind of forgot about it, and then got a phone call that I had an audition for it, and I went in, and I thought it went well, and then I didn't hear anything for like a month. This is like the first time that ever happened. Wow. And then I got it, and then I was thinking, oh, they obviously didn't like me. Like, thought they did. And they were like, no, they loved you. And they just never told us and then you're shooting tomorrow. And or something like that. It was something like, really quick. And then I did that first episode at the art gallery, and then got a call that I was doing episode 6, and then got a call I was doing episode 10 and 12.
That's such a treat. I mean, that must have been such a good feeling because you'd kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Wow. That must have just been like,
It's like finding $5 in your pocket, like, and you didn't
or
know.
like,
yeah, it was amazing.
A lot more than $5.
Right, a lot more. A good little salary.
So after you got cast and everything, then you started shooting right away. And do you have any fun stories of anything that happened behind the scenes that like you can tell us about?
Let me think.
Anything that sticks out to you? When you're old and gray, you're going to be like, that day on the set of Grace and Frankie, that was great.
Well, I was, we were like working really late, and like we had all been there for a really long time, and there was like these Twix on the counter and like Snickers that someone had brought over, and I asked Martin, I said, would Jane Fonda ever eat that Twix? and he goes, she'd eat it when no one was looking. And so then I just thought that was so funny. I was just like, then I ate it, and I was like, oh, I should eat that then, of course.
That's hilarious. And was he very sweet? He
so sweet. Everyone
so
is
sweet.
nice. Like, they're all so warm. I couldn't. I mean, they're 4 legends, right?
Yes.
And each one is nicer than the next. I mean, most of my stuff, I would say, of them 4 is with Lily, and she's been so wonderful and nice, and I feel so lucky. She's very complimentary, and she,
Yeah, that's so much fun. Is there one scene that sticks out that you filmed that, well, even if we haven't seen it, you can kind of just give us like a tiny recap?
It was really fun to shoot well, you guys have seen all of them, right?
I have seen all of them.
You have
I started 13 a little bit, and I had to say,
Okay.
no, Calvin, stop it. Like, be a
Yeah,
good
I
little
think I
host.
have one more left because I was just like, come on, stop. But it doesn't matter. I have one left. Like, I don't know why I
Yeah.
just don't finish it. I'm screwed at this point. I'm not.
Right.
But I'm going to rewatch them, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, every week as it
Of
goes.
course.
But yeah, tell us. I'm sure a bunch of people
I guess
out there
this
have done the same.
episode. Well, I loved the episode 12 because I love the actor who plays. Oh, what's his name? Tim Bagley. Do you know
Yes,
Tim?
yes, yes.
Has
yes,
he been
yes.
here?
No, he hasn't
No.
been here yet.
He's one of
Like,
my really close friends. I write plays also, and he's played my dad twice, and he's the funniest person I've ever seen in my life. But so when he plays the director of the musical, and I'm a huge musical person, so when we got to go to watch them do the musical, that was the highlight for me. And like if you watch it, you see me being like really excited about it because I love it, and so they just use that.
So because I read that you are a playwright as well.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Tell me a little bit
Thanks.
about that.
Well, I wrote a play with my boyfriend that went to the Sam French Festival in New York City, and we won, and so we're getting published, and that was exciting.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Thanks. Tim Bagley was not in that one, but he's been in other ones that hopefully we'll do more of.
Yeah, and you've gotten them. I read, there's like you've gotten them produced over LA
Yeah.
in different theaters. What theaters? I'm a big theater buff
Oh, you
too.
are? Okay.
Yeah, so I go to all the weird little theaters, and I love seeing shows.
It was there's this company that I work with. It's called Snapshots, and it's to raise money for breast cancer research, and we do it every year. And we do it at the Stella Adler Theater, and it's
Oh,
just like
cool.
several one-act plays, and
On Santa Monica Boulevard.
it's on Hollywood and Highland.
Oh yes. I've
The
seen
heart
that
of
one.
Hollywood.
That's so much fun. So are you
Yeah.
in your plays ever? Are you always or never?
I'm not
sometimes?
always in them, but most of the time, yeah.
And do you play like main roles or smaller roles? Because I know when people write and are in their stuff, sometimes they.
I usually like to give myself the smallest part as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard memorizing your own lines. I can't tell you why, but it's just like, and then you're just thinking about everyone else's lines, and you're just hoping that they're gonna say them, and it's so hard to all of a sudden to like be an actor when you're writing, and
Yeah.
But no, I mean the reason I started writing was to give myself like
Material?
give myself material that I thought could be good, or
That's what they always say,
Yeah.
people should do, especially in this day and age where
Mm-hmm.
internet and all of that and plays. Were you trained theatrically? Like,
I did like a program in New York, a Meisner program, and
Okay.
then moved out here and studied with this woman, Marjorie Ballantyne, and I do a ton of improv and stuff.
oh, cool. Where do you do UCB?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah.
I'm on like they call them the mess hall teams, or
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to take UCB classes, and I was there, like, all the time. It's a very special place. We want to go to Barron's show. That is at the
in
end.
the Negroes.
Yeah, that's the end of the month. So that's a ton of fun. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I think that because of your background, it makes you just a very good choice for the show, don't you think?
Perfect
Oh,
fit.
thanks.
Yeah.
You guys are so nice.
No, seriously, I like really, the more that I, watch you, I just think I'm glad that there's someone that is on the show. I hope that's going to stay, that I feel like kind of is just a cool other element, because some of the other characters that have been added, and they come in and out, and I kind of am like, they're unnecessary. I mean, I usually love the actors, but I'm just like, I know you're gonna go away, kind of thing.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, because it does feel like Allison is necessary, because it's like how we've just identified that Bud has kind of been like the one who holds it together, and he really has focused all his energy on everyone, and now he has just one singular person that he has to really focus on, his girlfriend. And hopefully things get serious, it'll really allow him to have a life for himself.
Yeah.
And that's necessary.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely
we
agree
love
with that.
Allison.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What else? What else do you have going on? And I mean, like, I was doing some research on you and stuff, and you've done so many shows. Like, just you've been guest stars, and then you've had like longer arcs. And were you? It was Get On, right?
Getting On.
Getting On.
Yeah.
Getting On. Yeah, that I remember that show. That was a really fun show.
That was the most wonderful show to work on.
Yeah.
It's really special.
I'm sure that was a really great experience. And are you doing anything right now?
Well, I was just thinking about it. I worked with, June Squibb. Yeah. She was on Getting On for a couple episodes, and I just finished a pilot that we shot 2 nights ago, a multi-camera pilot for CBS.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
really fun, called Living Biblically, and we'll see if it goes. But It was super, and June was in it. June's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she was just, I just
I
love
love her. I know.
I love her so much. She gives the best hugs, and she just smells like, she smells so good.
Is she wearing Baron's deodorant, maybe?
Oh,
he was telling us
natural
how
deodorant?
he makes deodorant for people.
They just don't work, I find. I mean, I've never tried his, but yeah. Why do they make all of those deodorants with that bad stuff in it for you?
Right, the aluminum is.
Why do they sell
crazy.
that? I don't know.
Because it like
Yeah.
makes you stink less and makes you die sooner. I don't know.
Conspiracy.
You know, you kind of have to like choose your battles. It's like,
Yeah.
do I want to smell really bad for a long time or smell good for a shorter amount of time?
Right.
But on that note, let's get into some predictions because I know we've kind of watched them, but I've honestly forgotten a little bit about what's happening because I think I just had a weird one night binge. I just couldn't stop. So yeah, let's talk about what we think is going to happen in the coming weeks and
now,
anything else you want to share about our
AfterBuzz
thoughts.
TV predictions.
So I definitely think that we are going to see Brianna's gigolo again. I mean, that's what he is. He's a gigolo. I mean, he's an escort gigolo. Someone out there that is a connoisseur. It's like, don't call them that. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think we're gonna see him more. And I did really want to see Brianna's ex, Barry. Is Barry
I
right?
really want to see Barry.
Yeah, I kind of want to see her
Yeah.
come around. And I don't think that Mallory and her husband are gonna
Yeah.
last much longer. It's kind of painful to watch. But yeah, and then I think that Allison and Bud are going to continue to get closer. Yes.
We can only hope.
Yes, we can only hope. What do you think? If you could, I mean, I know you've kind of watched them, but
Yeah.
like, so it's hard to do this.
It
This
is.
seems like a
It's so
crazy thing to
hard.
do.
I know. It's hard to do this. I usually don't do this, but I honestly kind of forget. I'm forgetting what happened, so
Yeah.
I have a new brain today.
I'm still like speaking to Mallory, like with her and her issues with her husband. I'm kind of hoping for her and Coyote to kind of like find their way back to each other a little bit. You know, like she like when everyone does, you know, like hit so hard down on Coyote saying, you know, you're not this, you're not that, you're 35 and you don't have this accomplished. She's kind of the one who's always trying to make him feel better and lift his spirits. So I think they're a good fit for each other
Yeah.
in some ways.
Since I haven't watched the finale, I will say like maybe a big cliffhanger could be her and Coyote, like someone walking in on her and Coyote. Like I could see Brianna walking in on her and Coyote and being like, "What the f?
She would scratch her eyes out.
Are
Yeah.
you serious right now?" And it'd just be this whole thing. I think that would be really, really funny. So we don't know when season 4 is like, but you guys are picked up, which is awesome. So I definitely hope we can see Allison. I can tell by the look on your face, you can't tell us anything. But yeah, I really, hope that we see her next season and that
Yeah.
see. So do you post stuff about your plays on your Twitter and stuff like that?
I should be better
You
at
should,
that. but
because I would love to go see something.
Oh, okay, cool. I will.
So she's gonna start doing it, then you guys should follow her. And if
Yeah.
you're in LA, like always fun to support actors that we
Yeah, that's
we
true.
really like.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having
This
me. It
was
so
a
fun.
blast. One more time, if anyone forgot, where can the fans find you on social media?
Lindsey Kraft, LinzKraft, and that's the same for Instagram.
Yes.
Perfect.
Twitter and Instagram.
And you, Calvin?
Me at Leon Calvin Mac all across social media.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. And check out the Anchor app. You can download it for free or stream it online. I have my own channel on the app. It's like radio, and it's about binge watching. I give you new shows every day to binge watch, so check it out. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.